Discover the incredible journey of a single mom who transformed her life after driving a CEO home. Sara's heart raced as she pulled over on the two-lane road, the hum of the engine dying away to a low thrum. It wasn't every day a woman like her found herself face to face with the likes of Mr. Thompson, the CEO of a tech empire, clad in a suit that seemed designed to command respect. But tonight, the mighty executive needed help, stranded on the side of a road far from where his world lay. She remembered her own daily battles, the late shifts, the bills piling up, and the almost deafening silence that crept in when her kids were asleep. With her trembling fingers gripping the steering wheel, Sara opened her door and approached him. "Need a lift?" she offered, her voice steady despite the tumult in her heart. Over the bumps and potholes of their small town, an unlikely bond began to unfurl between them. As the car surged ahead, she shared her daily grind, the long hours waiting tables at the diner, mopping floors in houses just a stone's throw from the glossy suburbs where wealth glimmered like the sparkle in a child's eye. "Sometimes, I wonder if it's all worth it," she admitted, a heaviness settling in her chest. Mr. Thompson, leaning back in the passenger seat, seemed genuinely intrigued by her story, his eyes reflecting a mix of empathy and admiration. "You care fiercely for your children," he remarked, and Sara felt a flicker of recognition in his sincerity. He was no mere corporate titan. Behind that polished exterior was a man grappling with the choices he'd made, the sacrifices he'd endured. Here they were, two souls navigating different but parallel realities, united by their dreams yet distanced by the paths that fate had cast them on. Their talk ignited something deep within Mr. Thompson, a realization that there was a relentless fire in Sara's spirit that he hadn't seen in ages, an ambition tempered by the fear of failure, yet glowing fiercely amid adversity. Just as the conversation wrapped up, he mentioned a job opening at his company. Sara felt a ghost of hope touch her heart. Could she really step into a world so foreign, so polished? The weight of her doubts felt heavier than ever, but thoughts of her kids swept through her, brightening the darkness. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Back home, the whispers of the neighborhood circled around her ears like a relentless storm. "What makes her think she belongs there?" jeered a voice echoing in her mind, deterring her from even applying. The very thought of filling that role felt like wandering into the lion's den. Every step felt laden with uncertainty and judgment. And as if to challenge her resolve, chaos erupted. Ethan found himself tangled in trouble at school, while Mia succumbed to a stubborn cold, the weight of motherhood pressing down more than ever. Yet as she lay awake that night, listening to the soft breaths of her children, something stirred inside of her, a defiance against the odds stacked upon her. It was time to break through the glass that encased her reality. Would the town embrace her fierce heart, or would prejudice continue to guard their vision of what she could become? Sara tucked those uncertainties alongside her dreams of a new beginning, feeling for the first time that perhaps, just perhaps, the spark within her was brighter than the burdens bearing down from all sides. The road to transformation stretched ahead, but would she have the courage to take the first step? The sun rose like any other day, but for Sara, it felt different. The light streaming through the curtain painted a picture of hope on the walls of her small living room. As she got out of bed, she couldn't shake the conversation with Mr. Thompson from her mind. The job opening felt like a lifeline thrown to her in turbulent waters. Still, self-doubt nagged at her. What if she wasn't enough? As she made breakfast, Ethan shuffled into the kitchen, hair messy, eyes heavy with sleep. "Mom, did I get in trouble yesterday?" he mumbled, his voice thick with guilt. The memory of the principal's stern gaze flashed in her mind, but she took a deep breath. "We'll talk about it after school. How about some pancakes?" He perked up a little at the thought of a warm, fluffy breakfast, his favorite. She flipped the pancakes, the rhythm soothing her racing heart. Wouldn't it be incredible to show her kids that dreams didn't have to remain just that? Mia entered next, her sniffling muffled by clumps of tissues balled in her little fists. "Mommy, I don't feel good," she whined, her eyes watery. Sara crouched down to her level, smoothing the girl's hair away from her forehead. "You're going to be all right, love. Just a little cold, okay? Maybe some toast will help." After breakfast, they got through the morning chaos: backpacks, lunchboxes, and reminders of homework. Each task felt monumental, but Sara pushed through, determined to make today meaningful. She walked them to the bus stop, the crisp air filled with an electric charge of possibility. They hugged tightly before the bus arrived, Ethan giving her a radiant smile that illuminated his freckled face. As she walked back home, her mind began constructing the possibility of applying for that job. The very idea caused butterflies to flutter in her stomach. She stopped in her tracks, taking a deep breath. What would be her first step? She needed a plan. Gather her thoughts, get her resume ready, perhaps even practice what she would say if given the chance to interview. She sat at the table with her computer, fingers hovering over the keys. But just as she was about to type her name into a blank document, a faint cry rose through the air. She rushed to Mia's room, where her daughter sat surrounded by stuffed animals, the remnants of her cold still lingering. "Mommy, can you stay with me?" A pang of guilt shot through Sara. She held her daughter close, knowing her kids needed her more than ever. "Of course, sweetheart. I'll always be here for you." Time flew by, and the day slipped into evening, full of cuddles and reassurances. Once the children were tucked in, Sara found herself alone again, the stillness in the house amplifying her thoughts. She could almost hear Mr. Thompson's voice encouraging her. That spark could become a flame, she just needed to act. She grabbed her phone, her heart pounding with anxiety as she scrolled through her contacts to find his number. But in that moment, just as she was about to press call, the phone rang. It was her friend Lisa, her excited chatter cutting through the tension. "Hey, I just heard about this program for single moms looking to advance in their careers. It could be perfect for you." Sara's breath hitched. Could this be the opportunity she'd been waiting for? Would this be the push she needed to leap into the unknown? "Tell me more," Sara replied, a flicker of anticipation igniting within her. As Lisa laid out the details, Sara felt a transformation blooming inside her. This might just be what she needed, but the question lingered: could she truly step onto this new path, and would it be enough to change everything for her family? The next morning, Sara awoke to a dull gray sky, the kind that sometimes felt heavy with doubt. But today, there was a glimmer of resolve inside her. She'd spent the night mulling over Lisa's words, the idea of a program specifically designed for women like her moms eager to find their footing in a career. Maybe this was the moment she had been waiting for. Once the kids were off to school, she sat at the kitchen table with her laptop, determined to gather every piece of information about the program. Her fingers danced over the keys, and she found herself scribbling down notes filled with excitement. The program promised not just job training but networking opportunities and mentorship. Could tools like these truly lead her to a better life? After a couple of hours immersed in research, she felt hopeful, energized. But then the usual fear crept back in, whispering that she wasn't good enough, that she wouldn't know what to say, that she wouldn't fit in. To shake it off, she poured herself another cup of coffee and looked at her scruffy dog's lingering tail in the corner, punctuating the silence with hopeful wags. She smiled, thinking about how much he relied on her, just like her children did. As she scrolled through the program details, an image caught her eye. There was a networking event coming up. The thought sent a rush through her chest. What if she went? What if she met someone who could help her land that job with Mr. Thompson? Taking a deep breath, she pulled out her phone and tapped out a quick message to Lisa. "I need all the details about that event. I think I want to go." Lisa replied almost instantly, enthusiasm crackling through the phone. "You'll rock it. I'll go with you." The notion of having a friend by her side lightened the burden on her heart. Yet, amid the excitement, sharp doubts flashed through her mind. What if she froze up? What if her voice shook? How could she possibly stand out among experienced professionals? In the following days, Sara practiced what she would say. She announced to her dog, Duke, the things she had accomplished, reminding herself of her strengths, her skills, and the dreams she once held. The words echoed off the walls, wrapping around her like a protective cloak. She even jotted down her accomplishments. Every little victory mattered and they needed to be acknowledged. Finally, the day of the event arrived, and the air buzzed with anticipation. Sara stood before her closet, unsure of what to wear. The simple beige dress she pulled from the hanger felt almost inadequate against the looming expectations. Yet, as she looked in the mirror, she reminded herself that confidence came from within, not from fabric or accessories. When she stepped into the venue, the buzz of conversation washed over her like a wave. Clusters of women laughed and shared stories, while men in suits talked animatedly. Sara's heart picked up its pace, but she resolutely pushed through the crowd, seeking her place among them, and when she spotted Lisa, a wave of relief swept over her. They exchanged a quick hug, and Lisa whispered, "We've got this." Nonetheless, Sara's nerves wouldn't quit. What would she say? Who would she approach? As they browsed through the crowd, an older woman approached them, her smile warm and inviting. "Hello. Would you like to join our conversation? We're discussing strategies for managing work-life balance." Sara's stomach fluttered, excitement chased by anxiety. She wanted to join in, wanted to network, but a fear held her back. If only she could gather enough courage to open her mouth, maybe just a few words would set the wheels in motion. Would she manage to break through her nerves and seize this moment? Or would she let it slip away like so many chances before? As Sara gazed at the group, her breath trembling, one thought crystallized in her mind: she had to try. But what if this moment changed everything for her? Sara took a deep breath, closing her eyes for a brief moment to steady herself. She could sense Lisa's encouraging gaze. Everyone around her seemed engrossed in their discussions, laughter merging into the background. She held on to that excitement, focusing on the older woman's inviting smile. "Thank you." "Yes, I'd love to join," Sara finally said, surprised at how her voice came out steadier than expected. As they stepped closer to the group, her heart raced, but the warmth of the woman's smile repelled the chill of her insecurities. They were joking about the common challenges of juggling careers and family, and Sara found herself laughing along. It felt good to be part of this vibrant energy. The stories echoed her own, women talking about late-night projects, balancing schedules, and the inevitable chaos of raising kids. Before she knew it, Sara was sharing bits of her own story. "I'm a single mom, trying to figure out how to get back into work," she said, feeling a rush of vulnerability. Yet, as she spoke, she realized they were nodding in understanding. Their shared experiences formed an invisible bond among them. The conversation flowed, and as the laughter filled the space, Sara noticed the older woman leaning in closer. "You know, if you're looking for opportunities, I could help. I run a mentorship program that connects women with career coaching," she offered. Sara's breath caught in her throat. Hope ignited within her. This was exactly what she needed. "Really?" she managed, her heart a flurry of excitement and disbelief. "That sounds amazing." "Yes, absolutely. You just need to take that leap, share your skills, and believe in yourself. We all have something to offer," the woman encouraged. Sara was struck by how much they valued her simply for showing up. Maybe it was true, maybe she was more than a mom. As the conversation progressed, Sara immersed herself in the energy around her. She exchanged numbers with several women, feeling lighter with each connection. It was exhilarating to be viewed as part of something bigger, a community that cherished growth and support. But then a voice crept back into her mind, whispering doubts. What if her newfound connections didn't pan out? What if she messed up and lost this chance? Still, the older woman's words about taking the leap echoed in her head. She realized it was time to rewrite her own narrative. With Lisa by her side when the event wrapped up, Sara felt a surge of satisfaction. "I think I actually did it," she said, incredulous. "I talked to people, and they listened. Of course you did. Lisa beamed. You belong here. We all do. Just think where this could lead. As they stepped out into the evening air, the excitement bubbling inside her felt different. It was the thrill of possibility. Maybe this was just the beginning, a turning point she hadn't anticipated, but just as they reached the parking lot, Sara's phone buzzed. It was a message from the older woman. It was a joy to meet you. Let us schedule a time to talk more about the program. Believe me, this could be a game changer. Sara's heart swelled. The road ahead was beginning to illuminate, but what lay at its end? Feeling both excitement and fear, she couldn't shake the thoughts swirling in her mind. What hurdles would she need to leap next? And was she truly ready for the changes that awaited her? The glow from the streetlights marked the path to Sara's car, each step feeling momentous. As she settled into the driver's seat, she let out a long sigh, half of relief, half of disbelief. Lisa slipped into the passenger side, still buzzing from the evening's events. You know, I can't stop smiling, Lisa said, her eyes twinkling. Tonight was a breakthrough for you, wasn't it? Sara nodded, still processing the whirlwind of emotions. It felt good. Like I finally matter outside of being a mom. Lisa turned to her, genuine curiosity filling her gaze. What's next for you? Are you ready for what's coming? That question hung in the air, thick with possibility. Sara's fingers tightened around the steering wheel. I want to explore this mentorship. But, what if I can't keep up? What if they find I'm not worthy? Stop right there, Lisa interrupted, her tone firm. You are worthy. These women see something in you that maybe you don't fully see in yourself yet. Embrace it. The pep talk soothed Sara's jittery nerves, giving her a flicker of courage. You're right. I need to stop doubting myself. As they drove, the city lights danced outside the window, each twinkle symbolizing a new opportunity. Sara thought about her life, the years spent feeling trapped in routines, lost in labels. Now, she envisioned herself as part of something grander. The thought was intoxicating. Once home, the familiar sight of her house settled her racing pulse. She tiptoed inside, careful not to disturb her sleeping daughter. The air was heavy with the scent of lavender, her little girl's favorite calming fragrance. Sara glanced at the nursery door, where she heard soft whimpers. Her heart swelled. Creating a safe haven for her child had always been her primary focus, but tonight felt different. She pulled out her phone in the quiet, fingers trembling slightly as she read the message from the older woman again. The hope it inspired contrasted sharply with her lingering fears. As she typed a response, she felt a rush of determination surge through her. Absolutely. I would love to connect. There was no going back now. With each keystroke, Sara swept away her doubts, focusing on the path ahead. The moment she hit send, part of her fear faded. In the stillness of the night, Sara climbed into bed, the soft sheets enveloping her like a warm embrace. Sleep didn't come easily. The potential of the next few days danced through her mind, giving her the thrill and anxiety of starting fresh. She envisioned conversations filled with encouragement, laughter, and perhaps even sharing her own experiences to inspire others. What if she succeeded beyond her wildest dreams? The idea made her breath catch in her throat, but doubts crept in again, reminding her of the days filled with tears and frustration. What if she wasn't equipped to navigate their world? What if they found her wanting? Closing her eyes tight, she pushed the fears aside. Tomorrow marked the start of something new. As sleep finally began to claim her, a single thought flared in her mind. Could she truly become the woman she was meant to be? The next day, as she woke to the sun streaming through the curtains, determination replaced her fears. The day promised a meeting filled with possibilities. Perhaps this would be the moment she would truly find herself, and not just as a mother. What would this journey reveal? Would she finally uncover her own voice amid the chorus of support? She felt the thrill of the unknown waiting just outside her doorstep. Could Sara step boldly into this new chapter of her life? The answer awaited her, just beyond the horizon. Sara pulled herself from the warm cocoon of her blankets, the sunlight spilling through her window like a promise of the new day. She felt a spark in her chest, urging her to leap out of bed and embrace the world waiting just beyond her front door. Today wouldn't just be another ordinary day, it would mark the beginning of a new chapter. After a quick shower and a splash of water on her face, she dressed with intention, choosing a blouse she hadn't worn in ages and a pair of pants that made her feel confident. It was time to shed the remnants of self-doubt, even if only for a few hours. As Sara prepared breakfast, the scent of pancakes filled the kitchen, weaving through the idyllic calm of the morning. Her daughter, Mia, bounded into the room, still in her pajamas, her hair a tousled mess. "Mommy, what smells so good?" she chirped, reaching for the edge of the counter. "Pancakes." Sara giggled, ruffling Mia's hair as she served a plate full of fluffy goodness. Watching her daughter's eyes light up brought Sara a joy so pure it warmed her from the inside out. "Can we have strawberries?" Mia asked, her tiny hands reaching up, hopeful. "Of course," Sara replied, her spirit buoyed by the simple exchange. As she sliced the bright red fruit, she couldn't help but feel the weight of her ambition settling around her shoulders like a comforting shawl. With breakfast done and the dishes cleared, Sara knew she had to move. Today was her first meeting with the mentorship group, a gathering of women who shared their stories and experiences. It was daunting, yet empowering. She felt the pull of possibility and purpose. After a quick check on Mia, Sara grabbed her purse and headed towards the door, her heart racing with anticipation. Standing on her porch, she paused to inhale the crisp morning air, the sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves filling her with a sense of calm. Would this day actually change everything? The venue was a cozy cafe downtown, filled with the aroma of coffee and baked goods. As she entered, Sara felt a rush of nerves, the overwhelming chatter and laughter putting her instantly on edge. She spotted a group of women nestled at a corner table, their smiles warm and welcoming. They beckoned her over, and she felt an inexplicable pull to join them. "Hey there. You must be Sara," one woman said, standing to greet her with an outstretched hand. "I'm Amelia. We're excited to have you." The warmth from those simple words sent a ripple of comfort through Sara. She introduced herself, her voice slightly shaky, but as they started to chat, her nerves began to ease. Stories of struggle, resilience, and triumph filled the air, and with each shared experience, she felt fragments of herself reconnecting. But as the discussion deepened, Sara realized her own story was still trapped in her chest, waiting for its moment to emerge. It felt like a secret teetering on the brink of being shared, and the thought gripped at her insides. Could she really open up like this? Would they embrace her truth? The questions weighed on her, yet hope flickered in the back of her mind. The moment felt like a pivotal crossroads, leading her towards everything she had ever dreamed of. Could she take that leap? Just then, Amelia leaned in closer, her eyes glinting with encouragement. "Sara, what about you? How has your journey shaped you?" At that moment, Sara felt the urge to speak, to let her story spill out, to be heard. Yet, as the words danced on the tip of her tongue, she hesitated, a wave of uncertainty crashing over her. Would she find the courage to reveal herself? The answer lingered in the air, teasing the edge of possibility. Sara's heart raced. The moment felt electric, like standing on the edge of a diving board, staring into unknown depths below. Her breath hitched as she searched her surroundings. The women around her, animated and supportive, were drifting in and out of focus. What about me? The question echoed in her mind. The weight of her story pressed heavily on her chest, a stone lodged where words should be. The mornings she spent contemplating whether she had chosen the right path. The evenings filled with doubts about her ability to juggle being a mother and pursuing her dreams. She began, her voice trembling as if it were an unsteady kite caught in unpredictable winds. Everyone turned to her, eyes bright with expectation. She opened her mouth to speak, but the right words seemed to elude her grasp. Amelia continued, "It's okay, take your time. We're here for you." The sincerity in her eyes pulled at something deep within Sara. Taking a deep breath, Sara reminded herself of the power of vulnerability. This was why she was here, to step into her truth. "I've faced some challenges," she finally started, her voice steadier now. "Being a single mom has been tough. There were nights when I cried alone, thinking about how I would make ends meet. I often felt like I had to put my dreams on hold." As her words flowed, Sara began to feel a sense of liberation. She spoke about searching for jobs that pushed her to the brink of her comfort zone, but also the moments of joy, like getting Mia to laugh or discovering a new passion in art. "I remember one day," she continued, a small smile forming on her lips, "I was driving home and picked up a client, the CEO of a big company. He was just a guy, and he talked about failure like it was a stepping stone instead of a setback. It changed my perspective completely. That night, I wrote down everything I wanted to achieve and vowed to chase after it, no matter how big the mountain seemed." The group listened intently, and Sara could see nods of understanding. There was no rush, no judgment, just a connection that wrapped around her like a warm hug. "Thank you for sharing that, Sara," Amelia said softly. "You're not alone in this. We all have our struggles." The conversation shifted as more women began to share their own stories, creating a tapestry of resilience that filled the air with warmth and camaraderie. Laughter broke through shared sentiments, and as they talked, Sara felt heavy burdens lift. In this safe space, she had laid bare her fears, her hopes, and in turn, received the gift of acceptance. But as the chatter drifted to lighter topics, Sara's mind danced back to the CEO's words. What if she didn't just dream anymore? What if she took that leap and truly pursued her passion for art and starting a little business from home? "It feels like I'm on the brink of something," she thought, excitement bubbling just below the surface. But the moment was fleeting, replaced by the familiar tug of doubt. What if it failed? What if she tried and still couldn't manage? Sara stole a glance around the table. Women who had braved their own storms, and instead of fear, she felt a growing surge of courage. What was the worst that could happen? That evening, as she returned to her car, she felt lighter. She gazed into the rearview mirror, seeing not just a woman, but a mother ready to embrace her dreams. With Mia's laughter echoing in her heart and the scent of possibility swirling around her, Sara whispered to herself, maybe today really can change everything. The next step danced in her mind like a flickering flame. Tucking a lock of hair behind her ear, she thought about the idea she hadn't fully explored yet, her little art project. What if she finally took that leap? Would it lead her closer to the life she envisioned? Sara woke up the next morning with a renewed sense of purpose. The sun poured through her window, casting golden rays across her bedroom, illuminating everything with a warmth that mirrored her spirit. She took in a deep breath, savoring the familiar scent of coffee wafting up from the kitchen. Today was different. Today, she would start making her dreams a reality. After breakfast, she and Mia sat at the table scribbling in their notebooks, Mia with colorful crayons and Sara with a pencil that felt heavier than usual. Each line she wrote about her art project ignited a spark. What if I started an online shop? She thought, her heart racing at the idea. Mia looked up and asked, Mommy, what are you writing about? Sara smiled, feeling alive in the moment. Just some ideas for a project I want to start, honey. It's something that makes me feel really happy. Excited by her mother's enthusiasm, Mia grabbed a crayon and drew a big heart around her own doodles. Can I help too? Of course. You can help with all the colors. Sara beamed, and for a moment, she felt as if they were weaving a beautiful tapestry of dreams together. After they finished their art session, Sara tucked Mia into her favorite corner with a pillow fort and a storybook. With Mia happily immersed in her tale, Sara grabbed her laptop and sank into the couch, ready to research everything she needed to know to sell her art online. The hours slipped away as websites and tutorials filled her screen. The learning curve was steep, but somehow, the more she discovered, the more excited she became. It felt daunting and exhilarating, like standing on that diving board again, but this time with a purpose. She jotted down notes, created sketches, and envisioned how each piece could resonate with others. Just then, her phone buzzed, cutting through the focused silence. It was a message from Amelia. "Hey. How's your day going? Would love to grab coffee this week." Sarah's heart fluttered. Amelia had been a beacon of support. Her encouragement had pulled Sara out of her shell and into a world that felt vibrant and full of potential. Sara quickly responded, "I'd love it. Let's talk soon." Feeling buoyed by the connection, she returned to her plans, scribbling away, until finally, a nagging thought crept into the back of her mind. What if she took it one step further? Instead of just an online shop, perhaps she could hold a local art show. The idea sent jolts of energy through her. But where would I start? Could I really organize something like that? Doubt returned, fluttering in the pit of her stomach. Pushing it aside, she picked up her phone and looked through her contacts. She had met several talented artists at community events. With a few text messages, she could reach out, gauge interest, and maybe gather support. It could be a small gathering, a showcase of their work, a celebration of creativity, just a space to encourage and uplift one another. As she typed out those messages, Sara felt a shift again. Each word was a brushstroke, painting possibilities that had once seemed out of reach. She hit send and felt lighter immediately, like she had just opened the door to a house filled with hopeful potential. Later that evening, after tucking Mia into bed, Sara took a moment to breathe. She stood in the quiet house, heart beating with anticipation. As she reflected on the day, she recognized a change in herself. She wasn't merely dreaming, she was now in motion, but as she settled down on the couch, a thought pulled at her mind. Was she ready for what might come next? Tomorrow would bring responses to her invitations, responses she both craved and feared. What would happen if her art actually connected with others? She took a deep breath, letting it go, whispering to the stillness, "I have to try." With that thought lingering in her heart, she closed her eyes, the flicker of possibility dancing around her like fireflies in the night. The next morning, sunlight streamed into Sara's room, wrapping her in a warm embrace. The weight of yesterday's excitement lingered, pulsing like a gentle drumbeat in her chest. Today, she didn't just feel hopeful, she felt alive, as if every breath was infused with possibility. As Mia bounded into her room, her hair messy and wild, Sara couldn't help but smile. "Coffee?" she asked, tucking Mia under her arm. They padded to the kitchen, the aroma tickling their noses, pulling them closer to the promise of a new day. "Can we have pancakes?" Mia chirped, her tiny hands instinctively reaching for a bowl. "Absolutely," Sara replied, the simple joy of her daughter's excitement fueling her own. As they whipped up the batter, laughter filled the air, mixing with bursts of flour and chocolate chips, creating a delicious morning symphony. Between flipping pancakes, Sara's mind darted to the messages she had sent out the night before. What had everyone thought? Would any of the artists respond? She wiped her hands on a dish towel, glancing at her phone, a feeling of anticipation bubbling inside. After breakfast, she encouraged Mia to play in her room. "I need to check something, okay, sweetheart?" Once alone, Sara opened her phone. There it was, a string of notifications. Her heart raced. In that moment, she felt like the sky was opening, and she was ready to leap. But she hesitated, fingers hovering over the screen. What if the responses weren't what she hoped for? She swallowed hard, reminding herself of the empowerment she felt yesterday. With a determined tap, she opened the messages. One by one, she scanned the replies. Sophia, a painter she admired, expressed enthusiasm. "I'd love to showcase my work. Let's do this." Next was Josh, a muralist with a knack for vibrant stories. "Count me in, Sara. This will be epic." Her heart soared higher with each affirmation. Even Rebecca, a delicate sculptor, had written back, "Yes. I've been waiting for a chance like this." Let us create something special. It was as if a dam had burst open, flooding her with an overwhelming sense of support and excitement. Meeting them all made her feel elated but anxious. This wasn't just her dream anymore, it was a collaboration. Could she manage the responsibilities that came with it all? With renewed vigor, she began plotting out details in her notebook: venue options, promotional ideas, and a timeline, her pen dancing across the paper. The more she wrote, the more her fears began to dissipate. She could do this. Hours flew by until the sounds of Mia's giggles brought her back. Sara glanced at the clock and realized it was almost time for their afternoon playdate. As they made their way to the park, Sara felt her heart swell with joy. The sun bathed everything in a golden hue, casting playful shadows on their path. But deep inside, another feeling danced, a whisper in her heart that reminded her to enjoy the moment. At the park, as Mia played, Sara settled on a bench, allowing herself to soak in the laughter and light surrounding her. Then she noticed someone sitting a few benches away. It was Amelia, her friend from the restaurant. Amelia's eyes caught Sara's, bright and curious. After waving her over, they began chatting, sharing stories of life, dreams, and Sara's burgeoning plans. "Oh, I can't wait to see what you create," Amelia said, her eyes sparkling. But there was something else in her tone: curiosity, maybe even urgency. "Is there anything I can do to help?" Sara's heart raced. Could this be the moment she needed? Could Amelia join her journey? "Actually," Sara began, hesitating for just a breath. "I might just take you up on that." As they began to brainstorm ideas together, Sara felt the electricity of possibilities flowing between them. But what she didn't expect was for Amelia to reveal something personal, flipping Sara's world upside down. Would this knowledge change everything she thought she knew about her own journey? Sara had barely caught her breath, the synergy between them igniting a spark that sent her heart racing. They sat there, hiding from the world, crafting ideas like a duo of dreamers. Yet, as Amelia opened up about her struggles, the layers of self-doubt within Sara curled like autumn leaves in a brisk wind. "I've had my share of setbacks, Amelia confessed, her voice steady yet laced with vulnerability. "I left my job to pursue my passion for teaching, and it didn't turn out as I hoped. There were days I questioned if I made the right choice. But it led me here, to help others like you." The honesty hit Sara like a light bulb, illuminating her darkest corners. Suddenly, all the insecurities she had clutched so closely began to unfurl, opening the door to acceptance, to healing. Could it be that everyone wrestled with their own demons, yet that didn't stop them from rising? Their conversation flowed effortlessly, laced with laughter and shared glances of understanding. For the first time, Sara felt layers of pressure peel away. She was not just a single mom, she was part of a sisterhood, a collective that buoyed each other through the storms of life. "Let me take care of promotions and setting up the community board," Amelia suggested, her eyes bright with enthusiasm. "And you can focus on your artistry, it'll be a win-win." Sara tasted the sweetness of relief. Together they could create something extraordinary. It felt like standing atop a mountain, looking out over an endless horizon. The weight that once felt like a boulder now felt like a feather. As the sun dipped low in the sky, painting the world in shades of gold and crimson, Sara felt an overwhelming tide of gratitude. "Thank you for believing in me," she said softly, the emotion swelling behind her words. "I'm not sure I could have taken this leap alone." Amelia smiled, her eyes reflecting the warmth and camaraderie that enveloped them. "We're in this together, remember?" That night, as Sara lay in bed, a wave of profound contentment washed over her. The world outside was still, bathed in moonlight, but inside her heart, a fire danced. She thought about the art show, how the different elements and personalities would come together to create magic. The next morning brought renewed determination. With the sun peeking through the blinds, Sara jumped out of bed, ready to chase her dreams and support others in their journeys. She mapped out the details for the venue and sent texts to the artists who had committed to join her. One message after another, excitement electrified both her and the group. Days turned into weeks, and the art show began to take shape. Every interaction had Sara beaming with possibility. As more artists signed on, more collaboration blossomed. The walls of her home became covered with sketches, sample works, and ideas. Mia joined in during the afternoons, her little fingers painting alongside her mom, creating a tapestry of colors that illuminated their living space. Finally, the day of the show arrived. The sun rose high, the scent of spring gracing the air, wrapping around Sara like a sweet embrace. They had rented a local cafe, filled with natural light that poured through large windows, creating an inviting atmosphere. When the doors finally opened, Sara could hardly breathe. A nervous energy buzzed through her, fluttering in her chest as people wandered in, eyes lighting up at the art displayed before them. Applause echoed, laughter filled the air, and the atmosphere pulsed with excitement. Each new face, every delighted reaction rejuvenated her spirit. At that moment, Sara realized she had succeeded. She created a space that breathed creativity, supported others, and reinforced her own dreams. Mia, wearing a dress with bright colors like a burst of joy, raced towards her, pulling her into an embrace. "Mommy, look! Everyone loves our art." It was the culmination of her hard work, a testament of her determination. Tears welled in her eyes as she knelt down to meet her daughter. "Yes, love. Together, we did it." As the day unfolded, the sense of community enveloped her. She connected with other women, sharing dreams, hopes, and visions for what their futures could hold. The walls once built to confine her were now shattered by laughter and art. By the end of the evening, Sara stood back, watching the celebration unfold. She felt it, the transformation. No longer just the single mother fighting for survival, she was a businesswoman, a creator, a connector, and, most importantly, she was excited about what was yet to come. As the last guests trickled out, Amelia joined her, eyes alight with enthusiasm as they surveyed the aftermath of a day filled with joy. "We should do this again. This connection is powerful." Sara nodded, a radiant smile spreading across her face, feeling her heart swell with hope. "Absolutely, but next time we'll gather even more, create more. This is just the beginning." And in that moment, Sara fully embraced the role that had once scared her, a woman who dared to dream and inspire others to do the same. She felt alive, brimming with excitement for what lay ahead. The road would still have its bumps, but together, they would light the way, weaving stories into a larger narrative of perseverance, love, and unyielding hope. Your turn to pick up your brush. Take that leap of faith just like Sara did. Subscribe now to our channel so you don't miss the next inspiring adventure. Smash that like button to help us reach even more hearts. Comment below to share your favorite part of Sara's journey and how it made you feel. And don't wait not even one more second. Share this video with 5 friends who need to see that transformation in their own lives. Be part of this incredible community that believes in the power of dreams.